and female comedian, Mary Houlihan. Squeak, squeak.
It's me, Scantron the Squirrel. Do you want some tips to ace your standardized tests?
Female friendship!
No one should be forced to eat a towel, even if they are a nerd. Book school is actually kind of cool.
Hello, everyone. I'm Emily Pineapple.
And I'm Forrest, the keeper of the Canon.
And we're here this week to talk about the upcoming CGP host airing this Wednesday, September 18th, 2019, Mary Houlihan.
I'm so excited for Enchanted Pumice. I'm so excited.
It's Mary Houlihan. It's CGP's first ever multi-cam soap opera, Enchanted Pumice, the lives and loves of those in the premier spa.
And so many people have said that this is one of the most technically ambitious episodes. They've said it's the most technically ambitious episode they've done so far. So I cannot wait to see this.
Yeah, on the actual CGP pod with Chris Gethard and Mary Houlihan, JD still directs it? Who was the email chains with?
Oh, that was with Jersey Dave.
Jersey Dave. Mary has been like, this is my plan. If that's too hard, I'll change. And he's been taking that as a personal challenge, as if she's being like, fuck you, I bet you can't do a multicam soap opera in the studio.
I related to that as someone who's been in charge of technical things on shoots before. I was like, oh no, Dave, you're doing the same misinterpretation that I would do.
But it's going to be fucking
bomb. Be great. It's going to be great.
I'm so excited. Those are the kind of misinterpretations that end up with awesome fucking media.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm all for it. This Wednesday, September 18th, Mary will star alongside Nick Nanny, who co-created Nick plus Mary equals Morning, with Mary, of course, and worked with her on a play called Raccoons.
Sam Taggart, who was on CGP with Joe Rumrill and Rachel Pingram as Chef Sam Taggart, and co-starred with Mary in the show Sam and Mary, guested on Mary Houlihan's little podcast, and was part of her live show, Mary Houlihan Live and Good.
Eliza Hurwitz, who was in Police Pals with CGP former host Joe Rumrill.
Manolo Moreno, who we listened to on one of the episodes of Mary Houlihan's little podcast.
And wasn't he also possibly the person who did flips in the last CGP episode on 9/11? Always remember how good that show was with Carmen Christopher.
You mentioned that.
I thought that they called him Manolo because when I was listening to her little podcast and she was like, oh, Manolo. I was like, oh my God, the guy who does the flips.
I don't know.
Well, maybe. He may or may not be able to do flips, but in the least, he's extremely funny. And Wes Haney, who also appeared in Mary's web series, which we'll talk about, CEO Skyscraper. Mary Houlihan, for those who aren't as familiar with her, I had seen her in a couple of things.
Yeah, I had too. I had seen her SNL audition, which we'll talk about later. I'd seen that before because I think it got picked up on Split Sider or Vulture Comedy. I'm sorry, and
Vulture Comedy.
Yeah.
And
we'd seen her on some of the stuff with Joe Rumrill when we were looking into him for his episode.
Yeah, that was really exciting. Realizing that one of my favorite things that I saw him do, Mary was just his co-host.
Co-creator, too.
Co-creator. Yeah, she co-created Cartoon Monsoon, which we'll chat about.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
But yeah, Cartoon Monsoon. Mary Houlihan is a comedian, writer, actor, animator, and artist living in Brooklyn. She creates and appears in comedy videos for many outlets, including True TV, IFC, Above Average, Funny or Die, and others. She creates videos as a staff writer and performer on Seriously.tv, most notably her viral interview humiliating Martin Scarelli.
That was so good.
Ooh, yay!
She created, wrote, animated, and starred in the Comedy Central hybrid live-action/animation series Learn to Paint with Mary Houlihan, which is available on her YouTube page.
And she has appeared on Broad City, Difficult People, The Chris Gethard Show, Rachel Dratch's Late Night Snack, who also featured the Found Footage Festival guys.
Yeah, that's right.
Damn, Mama Rachel. like mama birding all of our little New York baby chick faves. Jimmy Kimmel Live, Billy on the Street.
Martin Urbano was on Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Latino comedian and registered sex offender Martin Urbano. And she's a frequent guest on The Best Show with Tom Sharpling.
Who was also on the Chris Gethard Show.
Yeah.
As an artist, she created the hand-painted title cards for the Adult Swim show Joe Pera Talks With You and the specials Joe Pera Talks You to Sleep and Joe Pera Helps You Find the Perfect Christmas Tree.
She has written humor pieces for The New Yorker, McSweeney's Quarterly Concern, I love Reductress. I almost said it wrong, but I really like Reductress, and Paste Magazine. And her comedy videos have been celebrated in the AV Club, Vulture Magazine, Paper, and Entertainment Weekly.
She's been called one of Time Out Magazine's Breakout Comedians of 2016, Paste Magazine's Best of What's Next, and Forbes Magazine's Comedians Under 30.
She creates many indie projects, including free and affordable live comedy shows in New York City, comedy albums on cassette tapes, and a daytime TV show out of her living room. Is that the Nick plus Mary equals morning?
Yeah, that's Nick plus Mary equals morning.
She also partners with Hungry Monk, a homeless outreach program based in Ridgewood, Queens, to make comedy fundraising videos, which are all very cute and sweet. I watched some of them.
Yeah, they're very, very sweet.
So, yeah, she's like a legit artist.
She's 100% a legit artist and like a legit artist working across all kinds of mediums, and it's so cool.
She went to SFAI, San Francisco Art Institute, the best art institute in the country, not just because it's in San Francisco. She, I listened to, on her little podcast, she interviews someone who became like a straight up, working in the visual art world person who she went to school with. And she said that they met their freshman year and they were like the only people from the East Coast who met each other, and they like hated San Francisco. They're like, oh, like these West Coast people like think they're being honest, but they're not being honest. They're just being polite and like all these phonies. And I was like, huh, like I relate, girl.
I mean, yeah.
You're not wrong.
That's not, I think what's wrong is that we don't know that we're doing that.
I'm like, what are you doing telling someone to fuck off? You just look at them weird and go, that's nice.
Yeah. That's nice. Is our bless your heart. Like, we have it.
Oh, we do.
It's just,
Sounds fun for you.
Oh, I see why you like it.
Okay. Her other frequent collaborators are Joe Rumroll, of course. They co-host Cartoon Monsoon and a bunch of other things.
Yeah, they've worked together on a lot
She's
of
like
lot
a
of
keystone.
Stuff.
She is a
she
keystone.
Absolutely is.
Watching her things, almost everything that I saw her in where she wasn't by herself, I'm like, oh my God, CGP. Yeah.
No,
I feel like
it's crazy.
Yeah. It's either that she's a keystone or there have been enough CGP episodes that we now like know more people who would be involved in CGP, and therefore when we see them in the New York alt comedy scene, we're like, oh my God.
I think it's both, because we also have Gethard's show.
That's true.
Connections like Millie Tamarez, who's a cast member on CEO Skyscraper, Mary's web series, and also appeared on her podcast on one of the improv musical episodes.
Oh my God.
On Three Little Chickies #3.
Oh my
You
God.
should listen to all Three Little Chickie episodes, all three of them. And she also appeared in Halloween Vacation as Millie in the opening. And so, like, that's why I don't think it's just that we've seen more CGP. Because the fact that there's new TCGS connections popping up makes me think Mary really is, like, a keystone.
Yeah. She's also on a lot of the episodes of the special without Brett Davis. She's appeared on Brett's show, The Macaulay Culkin Show, and MTV 12. She works with him a lot. Like, there are full episodes of the special that are just like presenting Mary.
Yeah.
And Mary does her thing.
And she was one of the people interviewed for the special's 100th episode during like the sit down. So that was really interesting to watch.
Yeah, it was like meet the cast members of the special, which was very cute.
And one of the MTV 12 episodes also had Vacation Jason on it.
Yeah.
So that's another connection.
Yeah. Some additional info about her. She has, of course, appeared on The Best Show multiple times over the past few years. A lot of these things were in her bio.
Yes.
I'm going to be real.
I put that there before we got the bio.
That's okay.
She also appeared, the Gethard Show episode that she was on was Everything is Terrible, which was one of the cable episodes, and she appeared as the character Loud Mime, which is, it's such a Mary character.
She also created and starred in Me and Jack, a one-woman show about her totally not fake relationship with Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
And we found out that she posted like the whole thing like just a couple minutes ago. Not enough minutes to watch it, but I think that might be what happens when we're done recording this, or maybe tomorrow, because I really want to see it.
She was also on the 2016 Chris Gethard election special as herself.
The Lost one?
The Lost one, yeah.
Well, we found a lot of things that we loved about Mary Houlihan.
Yeah. If us just saying, oh, she also did this thing throughout this entire intro didn't make that clear. She does so much stuff that we love.
She does so many things. We are personally like huge fans of animation.
Yeah.
If we hadn't mentioned that before. And her animation styles are so cool, so punk rock, like so nouveau 90s, with a lot of fun neon and cool vector characters, and she's very funny. So we're going to talk about the 15 things. Some of these things are categories.
Yes.
Some of them are just things.
And the first one is a thing. That is a web series called CEO Skyscraper. Mary created, wrote, and acts in this series, which is one of the ones she's made by Hatched, which is a comedy channel. Hatched also had Nick plus Mary equals Morning and Hatched House, which was like a crossover of all of their different comedy shows.
It was like a Big Brother house.
Yeah, it's like a Big
style
Brother
thing.
kind of parody. Some of the CGP and TCGS connections with CEO Skyscraper are that Andres Govia, the sexpert on Josh Sharp's episode, is a regular member of the cast as Vanessa Building, Mary's character's secretary, Michael. Millie, as we mentioned, is also on there. But then Latino comedian Martin Urbano is on an episode where he plays twins. And Matt Baratz, who was on Carmen's second episode, was on the series as well. So it's like a real, this is, as she's a keystone, this series alone is also a keystone.
So CEO Skyscraper is in part a satire of the girl boss movement. She plays Vanessa Building, who inherited a skyscraper. Thank you for the assist. She inherited that building from her father, who built it from the ground up. She's the head of a financial services company, building Brower and McKearns. However, Brower and McKearns are in jail for financial crimes.
I love that touch.
She's now the sole CEO, just trying to keep it all together. And she, at that point, you can't see what I'm doing,
right.
But she puts her hand on her fist and kind of looks wistfully off into the distance with the like, oh man, I'm keeping it all together and having it all. How's a girl gonna do? Yeah, it's adorable.
It's really good.
So this girl, I'm taking comedy class. And by comedy class, I mean like one of those fucking college ones where you have to learn about like Greek plays. So I now have a lot of fun words to use to describe the comedy that's happening, and I'm really excited to use them. This is like a satirical sort of thing, because she's taking segments of society that she wants to specifically critique and look at, as well as parody and farce. The parody being the girl boss style, and the farce being her ridiculous characters.
And like the Lean Back episode does a really good job of illustrating that, because like there's a guy who comes in, his name is Maxwell Sandstein, and he's a motivational speaker who wrote the book Lean Back, a guide for men making themselves feel smaller. Because women have so many advantages in the workplace that obviously they perform far better because they can cooperate, they apologize.
They just plain work harder.
They work harder. Yeah. And so there's one of the guys there named Mark is getting coached on, you have to raise your voice and smile.
Raise your voice and smile. Speak with a pleasant voice. Apologize more.
And so it's this great like satire on lean in and the whole like women have to start acting like we
Men.
stereotypically assign to men.
Because That's the reason women aren't respected.
Yeah, that's not anything systemic. It's just you're not being a man.
Literally nothing systemic. She uses her fun editing tricks as well in this series. There's a lot of visual humor with the cuts, in addition to just like fucking stunning performances and script. There's how many episodes are there of this? 4?
No, there's let me check.
Yeah, I think that there's 4 episodes. The second one is Money in Politics, which is satiring the idea of money in politics and corporations giving money to political, I don't know, what would-be politicians.
Yeah, to politicians running for
candidates.
office.
Is that the word I'm looking for?
Candidates with the hope of getting favors for their money.
Yeah, just sort of like, oh, come talk to us. We'll pay you $60 million.
Yeah, there's 4.
There's some great Brechtian comedy in there, which is something I learned from YouTube, not this class. Go YouTube, all the info, which is when she's like pointing out the thing that they're doing. So she's reading, who is it, Tolstoy?
Yeah, it was Tolstoy.
Tolstoy's Words of Wisdom, and there's a voiceover going, like, of the things she's reading. And then when someone comes in, they're like, oh, I'm sorry, like, for interrupting you. She's like, oh, I was just reading in voiceover. And I'm like, what? What?
That is a great reenactment of how you reacted when we got to that point. You
Yeah,
really were just like, what?
Yeah. And yeah, Martin Urbano was in this one. Pretty great. The third one was Debbie, which was when the company is trying to redesign Barbie.
Yeah, and their solution is novel.
It's very novel. Y'all should definitely check it out.
There's also just an aside that Vanessa Building grew up with Goldman Sachs equity bond trader Debbie. And I just loved that image. So I wanted to highlight it because that joke's so good.
Yeah. And truly, this web series is so great. Everyone in it is really funny. There are a lot of funny, just really great nonverbal performances by everyone. It's very surreal. Very, just watch it. If you watch one thing of Mary Houlihan's from this, we should do that at the end. We should be like, if you only watch one thing, make it this one. But I think I'm going to say that about all of these things.
Probably.
As I like remember how much I love them.
But if you like Wes Haney on her CGP episode, definitely watch the Money in Politics episode because he's great in that.
The second thing we wanted to highlight is Mary Houlihan's Lil Podcast. It is of the Forever Dog Network.
Yes.
And she does kind of what CGP is doing.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting. What she wanted to do was a bunch of different ideas, some of which have like follow-up episodes. Some of them are parodies of different styles. And just do that. So, for example, she has 3 Chickies. There are like 3 or 4 episodes of that. And it's musical improv. It's just a musical improv pod. And it's amazing. And Rachel Pegram was on one of them. And Millie was on another one of them. And they're amazing.
It's really cool because it's like the conversation is still just in that podcast style, except every once in a while the chatting gets interrupted by a musical number. And it adds like this really fun variety to it that I think is definitely worth checking out if you like improv at all. And if you haven't seen musical improv, I think it's a really good way to get exposed to it and see and check it out because it's a really good example. Another episode which really resonated with me personally was WTH What the Heck, which was done. It opens with like a perfect style parody of WTF with Mark Maron. But it's Mary interviewing Maggie, who's like a really cute kid who just loves Star Wars.
She's an actual real 10-year-old girl.
It's an actual 10-year-old girl, not an improver pretending to be a 10-year-old girl. Like an actual 10-year-old who loves Star Wars and made up her own character, who's Ezra Bridger.
But a girl,
Esri Bridger, which is like that's exactly what I would have done.
Yeah.
If I were her, I'd be like, okay, so who's my favorite character? I'm gonna make them like me. Then I'm them, and that's cool.
Yeah, and so there's a ton of these. There's ones where she's parodying the Oprah podcast, where she talks to someone about I forget their name, but they was talking about men's mental health and reducing the stigma that men have on expressing their feelings and feeling sadness and getting help and all of those like really super important things that are super stigmatized for men specifically. She did Nick plus Mary equals morning.
Yeah, that's right. I saw that on there.
That are like
good.
morning style episodes. I listened to a lot of these.
Yeah. It's really good. It's a great podcast.
Really good. It's really good. She did What Am I Thinking About with Tom Sharpling.
Yeah. I still have to listen to that one, but
it's
I
fun.
really want to. I love them both.
It's just the whole like hour is they'll just think of a thing and then the other person has to try and guess what that thing is. And I'm like driving in my car like, no, oh my God, it's orange juice. It's orange juice. And like they're not getting it. I'm like, oh my God.
Okay, that sounds amazing.
There's also the big podcast audition where people from, I don't know how she finds these people, but they're just people. They call up and they audition their podcast idea with her and with someone else. So someone called up and was like, my podcast would be that my friend and I look up really complicated subjects that we're like mildly interested in, but don't know anything about, and then try and explain it to each other. So they talked about like cyanophages or something.
I don't know what those are.
No, but they vamped each other as each other like looked up articles about it.
That's pretty good.
And talked about it. I think it's such a cute, fun idea.
Yeah, that sounds really good. I love that idea.
Yeah. Isn't it cute? I thought it was great. It's really fun. She is really, really good with callers. I'm wondering if there's even going to be callers this CGP episode because they're basically like doing a play, you know? It's the soap opera. I wonder if they'll incorporate the callers.
I could see there being calls like while they're setting up the new scenes because she alluded on the podcast, the CGP podcast, that the only like weird thing would be if there's like a noticeable, like a big delay while the new set is getting moved or switched to or whatever. But I could also, since it's apparently using 4 different studios at MNN, I could see them just being like, let's just not deal with callers.
Or incorporate the callers in some kind of interesting way, which I could also see her figuring out. I have no idea how one would do it.
I'm not.
But I have full faith that she would figure out a cool way to do it.
I'm no Mary Houlihan, so.
But yeah, so definitely check out her pod.
Yes.
Absolutely. If you listen to podcasts, there's no reason to not have her podcast in your queue.
100%, because it's really cool how you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, and they're all really good and have really fun people on them. The animation section, number 3, is a section and also individual items about her animation. I didn't know that she was an animator. I didn't know before going on YouTube. Oh, thank you for putting down my quote. She's a nonsense art house animator, and I fucking love it, which I do. The first one that I saw, and one that she actually was talking about making in the podcast episode where she was talking to her art school friend, is Chicky and Slippy.
I really liked Chicky and Slippy.
They're these great just vector images of a mouse and a chick, and they're super betchy, and they do like silly basic cartoon things like try and join a dance team and help out their friend Clarinet, who was dumped like this shitty boyfriend who keeps stalking her. That's where the female friendship thing comes from in the intro. There's also these adorable little shorts. The Chicky and Slippy episodes are called Dance Team and Clarinet. Then there's Bowling and Bacon, which are like these ridiculous little absurdist things with this little girl. All of the sounds are done by Mary very clearly.
I love that part of it. That's like one of my favorite elements.
Yeah. It's just like a little girl with big shoes being used as a bowling ball after eating some nachos. And like telling a bunch of bacon a bedtime story. There's Terrence, which is a bunch of like bizarre little sketches about like a random male animated character.
I loved the writing on these because throughout it she uses like vague terms to like great comedic effect. Like when he sees his ex-girlfriend, it's like, oh, ex-girlfriend. Or he meets a girl who's wearing a shirt with his favorite band and he just goes, my favorite shirt. I ruined that. My favorite band. I love them.
Yeah, and on the shirt it's
And
just
it just
written,
says your favorite band on the shirt.
Yeah. There is Scantron the squirrel, this is like a fun thing that she does in the Painting with Mary series as well, where she has animated characters interacting with her. It's kind of Disney princess style, like very Mary Poppins style.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's Scantron, the squirrel who helps small children pass standardized tests.
Scantron is so adorable and the kids in it are so cute.
Yeah. And then learn to paint with different Mary Houlihan characters.
Yes. And so these were all done for Comedy Central, right?
Yes. And this is its own section as well. She has a bunch more animation, which we've sort of broken up into like where it's been used in the project. Yeah. She does animations for Cartoon Monsoon.
Yeah, there's a lot of Cartoon Monsoon cartoons that she did, and they're all very good. And we're going to talk about some of them a little bit more in the Cartoon Monsoon section, but
I would not be surprised if she's like the lead animator on Cartoon Monsoon.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think she definitely is.
In fact, I think it's kind of like dumb of me to be like, maybe she's not.
No, she definitely is. I mean, like, I'm sure some of the stuff they show is submitted by other artists around New York, but I think she is like the lead animation person for Cartoon Monsoon. Yeah.
And if you're in New York and you're not seeing Cartoon Monsoon, you can go fuck yourself.
Oh, wow.
I really want to see this show. I've wanted to see it really bad since we were researching Joe Rumroll, and I've watched more of it now, and I just want to be there.
I mean, I want to see it too, so I support that message.
So learn to paint with Mary Houlihan. There are a bunch of these, and they're fucking amazing. I was watching these before I knew that she had gone to art school, and I was like, damn, she can really paint. She only went to fucking school for painting and animating. But yeah, it's great. There's like Learn to Paint Flowers, where she hangs out with Puppet from Cartoon Monsoon, who is a puppet named Puppet. And he notes that paintings of flowers are just bourgeois doctor's office art.
I love Puppet.
Yeah.
I love how against art he is in this art tutorial video.
Oh, yes. There's Learn to Paint Christmas Crafts, which is very Tim and Eric.
Yeah, that one was very Tim and Eric. I mean, the whole thing has like a little vibe of it, but that one specifically was.
She has a huge Tim and Eric vibe.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if like...
I want her to work with the three busy Debras. I want her to do animations.
Yeah.
And write with the three busy Debras. I think that they would have a really cool that would
combo. Be really cool.
Three busy Debras, of course, being Alyssa from Checking In with Alyssa, and her two other Debras, whose names I should look up. They're going to be on Adult Swim. But yeah, she does Christmas crafts where it's like weird Tim and Eric-y things like getting free popcorn off the floor of movie theaters. Weird stories about Santa and who he is and what he does all the other days of the year. There's Learn to Paint un plan R. I said that weird. She said it more French. She did it better.
Well, and it's French for open air, right? Mm-hmm. Or in open air?
Yeah, in open air. And so she does like a landscape and then like her little squirrel and a little bird and like an animations come and talk to her, and then like an actual like toy eagle like bonks her on the head and she falls down a cliff, but as a Barbie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's just fucking amazing.
I loved that one.
Learn to paint self-portraits. She does her self-portrait and then chats with her self-portrait. Draws her portrait like a little party because her portrait is lonely.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then her Hot Mary character, who gets her own section, also has a Learn to Paint video where she paints a drawing of Joey Ramone, but calls it Joey Fatone from NSYNC. And it's where we see her love for Derek Jeter, her husband.
Mm-hmm.
She has a signed Derek Jeter portrait on her desk where she paints a heart on the face in the middle of everything.
Derek Jeter being the baseball
shortstop.
players.
Yeah, the shortstop for the New York Yankees.
I only know who he is because of BoJack Horseman.
With the chum.
Yeah, with the chum from that one episode of BoJack Horseman, which I've seen enough times to be like, I know the name Derek Jeter. I know it very well. I don't know why.
One of my favorite gags in the Hot Mary Learn to Paint video is when she drinks her paintbrush water, like the cup she's using to scrape out the paint off her brush. She just drinks it.
There's a bunch of other fun videos of Hot Mary, her doing that character. And I think that it's a staple of what she does on the special without Brett Davis, because she mentions playing like the stupid hot character when she's discussing what she does there. But oh my God, Hot Mary is amazing. In the Hot Mary video, which you can find on YouTube, she just like comes out in a crop top, and her explanation is that like she bought this crop top a week ago and decided, why not be hot? And like suddenly just has like really long brown hair and talks like this because she's hot and has Derek Jeter as her boyfriend. And yeah.
I also loved in Hot Mary in the big city, the way she gets around is a guy just like walks up, throws her over his shoulder and carries her to wherever she needs to go and then puts her down and walks away.
Yeah. Just like random dudes. So yeah, Hot Mary. And then yeah, the special without Brett Davis, number 9, another category. She's on a lot of goddamn Brett Davis shows.
And she's played a lot of characters. She says in that video that they're basically the same character.
Like,
but
mostly the same person, dumb and probably hot. But also, like, we've seen her do a number of other ones.
Like Mary, the talk show host, who is sort of similar to her persona in Nick plus Mary equals Morning. But on one of the episodes of the special, she hosts it, and it's very much a parody of like 90s talk shows, like Sally Jesse Raphael, where she brings on some talented teens and talks to them about their talents.
Yeah. And has like videos of talented teens, including Riley from Albany, California, whose talent is juggling and going on vacation and being a robot.
And being a fictional character.
Yep. So yeah, it's Riley Soliner. Klon. But yeah, she's done the talk show host bit. Yeah. And a number of other videos and a number of live shows. She has a whole like 50-minute live show with Sam called Sam and Mary for like the Comedy Central corporate retreat. Yeah. And many other ones. I don't know who they were doing this for, but I'm jealous of those people, especially if it was a corporate retreat for real.
It was. No, I think it really was. I mean, they don't only do that there. They've also done the show Mary and Sam at like comedy clubs and stuff. But that performance was actually a Comedy Central corporate retreat at UCB East.
Well, it was really good.
I mean, yeah.
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 The catchphrase on her show is squeep, squeep, which I love.
I love squeep, squeep.
I just want to squeep, squeep all the time now. Like, I actually just want to use that as a catchphrase.
I mean, you can. We can do it. We can both start using it in the Discord and see if it catches on.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that as soon as I sign off. Sign off. As soon as we finish recording this goddamn podcast.
Number 10.
Cartoon Monsoon, which is a live show hosted by Mary Houlihan and Joe Rumrell with puppet Tim Platt and Music Man Steven DeCina. And yeah, we talked about it in Joe's show, but we watched more of it.
Yes.
And it's like a kid's show, but it's live. And after each show, they throw out the script and write a new one for next time. Mary does animation. She does the intro for it. She's done a bunch of other ones. They're really cute. They're like aggressively earnest.
Yeah, like their intro song involves them just shouting into the crowd, "Welcome to the show! Welcome to the show!"
I'm Mary and I'm Joe.
It's so good. Like this is one of my favorite things I've ever seen.
Right.
Like on the one we watched, they had Funky Frame as the animation that opened the show, where it was 20 animators working together to create one epic dance battle.
It's like they each take a certain number of frames to animate. So it's like claymation and 3D and, scummy little drawings. It's just fucking amazing.
And to return to Mary being a keystone, CGP, once and future CGP host Christy Cello is at the end of one of the Cartoon Monsoon videos, which is Cartoon Monsoon Breaks Up.
Yeah. She's the mother of Joe's child.
She's the life you can't go back to.
Nope. There's a Cartoon Monsoon Christmas, which is an adorable video where Mary, Joe, Puppet, and Steven get presents. And there's also Christmas poems, which she drew and animated in the style of the Peanuts.
Charlie Brown. Lucy, Snoopy, and all the gang.
And it's, remember Joe Rumroll's poems from the Joe Rumroll episode?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Joe Rumroll style poems, which is just amazing. I love their collaboration.
I started dying at his poem when he asks for a feature spot at the Knitting Factory as one of his presents.
And the Knitting Factory is apparently...
Yeah, it's a comedy venue in New York City where Wyatt Cenac used to do Night Train.
Yeah. Number 11, which you may have seen because I think it went kind of viral, right?
The SNL one, yeah. That went viral. It was on, like I said, Vulture Comedy and all that. And in it, Mary auditions to fulfill a bunch of background roles on Saturday Night Live, like person sitting next to the audience plant.
Person in the background of the sketch who says, "That guy's weird."
Cast member on stage while host bids farewell and the credits roll.
Wife.
Girlfriend.
Oh, girlfriend.
No, both.
Wife and girlfriend.
Yeah, girlfriend opens it and wife ends it, and they're both just silently like standing looking at the people having funny lines. It's really good, and I think it's good anyway, but it's especially good if you have watched SNL as much as I have.
You can, like many people on CGP and in New York, she has a one-woman show. And this one-woman show is available on YouTube.
Yes.
You can see the whole thing in different sections. It's Mary Houlihan, live and good.
And it is both live and good.
Yes. It is hosted by Joe Rumroll. It includes Sam Taggart. There's a lot of really great slapstick.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. She does her world famous stand-up.
I loved her celebrity impressions.
Yes.
Where Winnie the Pooh is just a guy yelling, "I came here with nothing but the shirt on my back."
She performs plays that she has written, like talking to Air Bud about how dogs can play basketball, but women are explicitly prohibited. She does a series of meet cutes.
Those are great.
Fucking killed me. She's like, okay, I'm gonna go like get my wigs for the next section, and it's just a series of meet cutes, like
the first guy's a doctor,
and then it's an astronaut, and then it's just like a really angry guy.
Yeah, there's this guy who's really angry because
there's
she bumped into him.
Yeah, there is an escalation.
Yeah, there is definitely a very clear escalation, and it's also a rule of threes.
Yes, which was amazing.
I know things about comedy that I learned from 30 Rock.
We get like a great Street Fighter impression from Sam Taggart.
So he plays Dagmar, who is Mary's best friend, and as he walks out, the Street Fighter theme song starts playing, and he shares his life story, but punctuates all his sentences with like fighting noises, like ha ha ha, and it's really good.
Next, we wanted to highlight number 13, cool boss.
This video feels like a predecessor to CEO Skyscraper in a lot of ways because it's still her as the leader of a workplace and has that same origin story about how her dad built the skyscraper from the ground up and she inherited it and has to keep it all running.
Yeah, and so she's pretending, a super trendy, cool boss.
Yeah, she's a cool boss,
Yeah, and she just wants everyone to look cool and have the right swag. And then this is actually, the next one is where I heard her talk about doing Chicky and Slippy.
Oh, really?
Yes, I messed up. It was this. It's knockoff Pokemon with Mary Houlihan.
And this is on the Drawfee channel.
Yeah, she was on one of these episodes. It's apparently they just draw funny things and you watch them drawing. You're watching the Photoshop thing happening. And so it's knockoff Pokemon and each artist draws a knockoff Pokemon. And she's really funny and it's so fun to see her draw. It's her first time ever drawing in Photoshop. And her Pokemon is a Charmander-inspired Pokemon, which is Sad Baby. The first iteration is it's like a Charmander thing with its legs pulled up behind its back.
And she adds perspective lines so we know that it's just bent back behind it.
And its legs come up above it like horns.
Oh, yeah.
So one of the people was like, oh my God, he's a literal foghorn leghorn. Oh, which killed me. And then she completely erased that and did another one, which was a Charmander puking into a toilet, but also puking fire into a toilet, but then also having fire diarrhea out the other end at the same time.
And both of her sad Pokemon had said, help me.
And I loved it. I thought that it was comedic in a lot of ways because a lot of the other drawings, I mean, these people are really experienced with drawing in Photoshop. They have they have a very polished style. Her style, and what she mentions there, it's vector art a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is that early internet, doodly style drawings.
Yeah.
Which I think communicates. I learned about the benign violation theory of comedy.
Oh, yes?
Yes, this is my college voice. Where something is funny when it violates some kind of societal norm, but remains benign. It remains something that's non-threatening. And so instead of being afraid, you laugh to let off that tension and show that it is not a violation that is threatening. So I was watching it and I was thinking about how her sketchy, awesome style itself is communicating a benign violation. It makes it funnier because it's like that. I love it. That's something I love about her vector art as well. It's not that she can't do other styles of animation or more complicated animations. She's choosing to make weird ass 2000s internet videos and it's fucking brilliant.
I love that. I mean, especially when you see, as you mentioned on her Instagram, you can see she went to art school. Yeah. There is no doubt that she went to art school and is so skilled. And so knowing
that she's making that choice to make those things funny for that reason,
it adds a lot
in that way. I was already laughing at how funny the figures were that were dancing and doing their weird little loops.
Because all their designs, they're super sketchy and stuff, but they communicate exactly who that character is.
Yes.
Very effectively.
And it's just funny.
And it's also funny, yeah.
The shapes are funny.
Also, the comedy's funny.
But the shapes are funny.
I know, they are. No, I know.
The shapes, Forrest, the shapes.
Well, the drawings... the drawings are funny. They do really communicate the character. Also, the funny drawings are funny. And it's interesting. Yes, they should be. Yes, the funny drawings are funny. You're right. I should that. Yeah.
But the style of it is funny.
No. I know. I
don't know how to communicate this.
No,
in an audio format.
It's the style. The style of the drawings is a huge part of the comedy. It influences the comedy. It is a huge part of why it hits as hard as it does.
I love it so much. I love her so much.
She's great.
We're going to talk about Heroes, our number 15 of our list of 15 things, which are the things that we were able to put together for this list. It is starring Charlie Hankin, Drew Lewis, Mary Houlihan, Justin Danforth, Matt Porter, and Will Dagger. Shot by Ryan Nethery. Is that how you pronounce that?
I think so.
And sound by Frank Flattery, because we have a lot of hurries here. It's a D&D group have a terrifying encounter with one of the characters' exes. So yeah, it's a D&D group, and they just start having like this great like intrapersonal conflict, like as their characters having an interpersonal conflict that only affects their characters.
And there's like a lot of there's a lot of subtext in this that perfectly communicates how much history there is between the like member of the party and the ex who Mary is like jealous of because she's now dating the guy who used to date the ex.
Well, she's dating
in character.
Her character is dating the character.
Yeah.
Another character.
Sorry, that's what I
that
meant.
Character.
Yeah, her character who is a druid but is introduced as a cleric because the ex character hates druids.
Oh my god.
And they like noted it in the description. Like the people who posted this noted it. Because it's just like, that's dense and I love it.
It's amazing. It's amazing even if you don't know any D&D.
All right, that's the other reason it's especially funny to us is because we just started playing D&D.
Yeah. But it's really fun. It's really fun. It's really fun seeing her act with other people as well as in her own things.
Oh, yeah.
Because she really holds, like, just slots into characters. She said that when she was starting out, when she was younger, she wanted to, do comedy. Mm-hmm. And it was only after, like, watching 30 Rock she wanted to be a comedy writer. And so she was, like, watching 30 Rock and, like, looking into all of these comedians and writers who she loved and realized that their paths to comedy were not like you go to school for comedy writing and then you get your job as a comedy writer.
Right.
The way that one would think a direct path is.
Yeah.
So she was like, oh, well, I can do that then, and just started doing it.
I love that.
Yeah, like that's how she started out. She just started doing it.
It's like what Gethard says in Lose Wild. Just do the thing.
Just do
Don't wait for someone to give you permission.
the thing. And she needs no permission.
No, absolutely not. She's doing it.
She's doing it. So yeah, those are our 15 things.
I have completely fallen in love with her comedy over this past week, and I can't wait to see her episode.
Me too. I think that it's like I see the Tim and Eric in her, but there are some parts of Tim and Eric that just the noises really get to me in Tim and Eric. Like all of like the chewing sounds and in that I just get this like, ugh, feeling that's like different from like looking at creepy bugs or something, which is the good kind of like, ugh. So she has a lot of the visual cutting of that without the noises.
Oh yeah, the editing and
she
all
has
her
a lot
stuff
of,
is amazing.
She also has on her YouTube page, she just does funny edits of videos. Like not anything that she wrote, not anything that she drew. She has a She Spies parody, like little cutting video that's very early internet, and it has like loops and like counter puts different scenes from the She Spies parts. It has one of the She Spies like punches a guy, and then his face like turns into glass and like shatters and then reforms, and then like the whole thing like shudders, and then it goes back to like the earlier like She Spies being like, yeah, oh my god, that's great, oh my god. And I was like, it made me really happy. I learned a piece of sexism when I watched that, because I was watching that and thinking how much I love those kinds of internet videos, and thinking like, oh my god, Mary Houlihan made this. A woman in my like age group made this.
Yeah.
I have literally only in my head ever pictured dudes making those kinds of videos, and I realized that I'm wrong. And that there are no boundaries, but those that which we put in our minds. And that makes me happy. That's another big thing that I love about this project that we're doing is I am being exposed to so many more female comedians and artists than I have ever been just consuming like mainstream media.
Yeah, no, I also really have loved that. I mean, I think it's great. I think it's great that Chris is helping to highlight everybody based on like purely the comedic talent and isn't, making decisions for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. And it's just really cool. I just really like where comedy's going. I really love looking at this New York comedy scene. I mean, I've even noticed it like in like the San Francisco comedy shows we've been to. There are so many more women than there were even 10 years ago. Oh yeah, no, it's the comedy has definitely grown into. It's beautiful. Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's wonderful, and I think it's getting. I mean, it makes the shows better because I hear so much less of the same joke over and over again. Yeah, you don't have just jokes from people who look like me about like the same experiences that we've all had, and it's like, well, but I'm done with that. I'm good. I got it. You're good. It's like, I get it. I fucking get it. I get it. It's great. That's great. Like, that's great. Let's move on. Exactly. Yeah, no, 100%. But yeah, it makes me so happy that to see her comedy, to see her doing parodies that only like a woman could really do, like the Hot Mary thing. Oh yeah, Hot Mary is like an amazing character. Funny. It's so funny. I mean, this is sort of what I've been saying about the underrepresentation of pussy jokes in comedy. Like, I like gross out comedy. I like really blue stuff. And there's a lot of really gross out jokes about like guys' butts and dicks and stuff, and not any about pussies. Like, there's a lot of jokes about like stupid bro dudes, but not as many about like the stupid hot chick stereotype, because a lot of that like has in the past bordered into just being like actually a shitty stereotype. Yeah, because a lot of those jokes sort of were, she was not a person in the jokes. Whereas like Hot Mary is a person, and like there are emotional depths to Hot Mary. Yeah. Like she is very fleshed out. Yeah. Like she is her own weird unicorn creature, like wrapped within a fake stereotype. And that's part of what's so funny about it. And that's so funny about like Mary. It's like, here's something that seems really basic, and now ephemera, like strange surrealism, flights of fancy. She even said that in one of her stand-up bits. She's like, as an alt comic, you come here expecting flights of fancy. And I'm like, I do. But yeah. So everyone watch Mary Houlihan. Oh, I'm sorry. There's more. What? Because I want to talk about what I'm expecting. Oh, yeah. What are you expecting from this episode? So given that it's a soap opera, I'm hoping for some real like telenovela style melodrama. And now it's partially because we've been watching Jane the Virgin, but also just because like I want to see, I think it could be really cool to see Mary like sink her comedic teeth into that material. Yes. Because like I haven't seen her do a soap opera, but based on what she's done, it feels like, of course. Yeah. Like, it feels natural. Like, of course she's doing a soap opera. That's perfect. Like, that's the perfect thing for her to be able to, like, work with. Yeah. To actually see a full, it's kind of a play. Yeah, she just wrote a play for us. And I love it. I love it. I love that this is, like, that someone's taking CGP and doing something so different with it. Yeah. Like, it's so cool. Yeah. She said her, like, idea was influenced by having access to a multicam studio. And I'm like, yeah, bitch. I so get that. Like, legitimately, one of my career goals has for years been doing multicam shooting. Oh my God. And I haven't, but like, I've edited a little bit, but like, I've wanted to do a multicam, like, live shoot forever just to do it because it sounds so fun. Oh my God. It's too amazing. So I'm so excited. Like, when she said that on the CGP podcast, I was just like, yeah. Oh, I get it. I get it. I think you whooped. I did whoop. Yeah. I whooped. I was over the moon. But enough about what I expect. What do you expect from this episode? Penises. Oh. Yeah. Huh. Penises. Multicam, penis, soap opera, multicam, different sets.
So with a penis soap opera, does that mean it's a soap opera about penises or a soap opera where penises are the main characters?
Main characters.
So everyone will be dressed in giant penis, like mascot suits, or are they like shots of penises that are talking?
It'll be close-up shots
Right.
of penises.
Uh-huh.
You won't really be able to tell anything about the body that is attached to the penis. But the way in which the penis is shot and its movement is going to communicate the drama of the soap opera.
Okay, so there won't be like any warping or anything. It'll be
No.
solely documentary style shooting,
But multicam.
but multicam.
Yeah. With different sets.
Different sets. Okay.
We'll like zoom out, we'll see the set,
Will the set? Oh,
and then we'll cut to the close-up of the penises.
Okay, so they're full size sets.
Yeah.
They're not like sets, like diorama sets made to scale for the penis.
With like a hole in the back
Yeah.
for them to stick the penis in.
Yeah, like all those games where you put your thumb through the hole to do like themed thumb wrestling.
Damn, that's a way better idea. Just gonna be real.
Well, if I have to pitch a CGP episode,
Yep.
I think that'll be it.
Yep. So to see diorama penis sets on Mary Houlihan's Enchanted Pumice this Wednesday, September 18th, 11 p.m. EST, 8 p.m. PST.
The best time zone.
The best time zone. Watch it. It's going to be really freaking great. Join us in the Discord. It's always a super blast. Join us afterwards for the post discussion, which is a live voice chat that only happens every week. If you're not there, you'll never hear it again. Yeah, it's really fun. We love all of you. And we're so excited for Mary Houlihan.
I can't wait for this episode.
Reagan is just like a really cool and chill place for people to work, where everyone has the right shoes and the right swag. And I'm sorry.